If you emote him, it's more likely he'll try to counter you back. Because you kind of like, you're like, haha, I have the counter, and then he's like, no. Lucian Callista. I just feel Archer is such a fucking slapper, dude. This card feels great. This card feels fucking amazing. Maybe I need more of this card. It's just, I'm looking at this card right now, and it's just like, it's gonna fuck, right? It's like he's attacking on evens, he's got Lucian, he's got Callista, he's got all kinds of things that just gets fucked by this card. His hand is just kind of a hand, right? Can I get rid of Crawling Sensation? Can I get rid of Brood Awakening? His deck kind of has no answer. I mean, Brood Awakening is kind of a bad Crawling Sensation, right? This looks good. Not draw. God. This whole hand is just driving me crazy, dude.
Did it move?
That's so fucking... Well, except for this top deck, but... I mean, outside of that, we had a good hand. We used to have a good hand. It just got really bad, but... it's okay. What do you run 3 Purifies in Venom and Zed? So that's a 209 special. Some versions are running 2 Purifies, but a common line that deck is going to take is... it's going to use Purify on the Zed clone. The fact that you run Zed allows your Purify to be, you know, a 2-mana 3/2 if you want. And then when the clone lives, then it's also a threat, because the clone not only is a 3/2, but it has the ability to level up the Zed. So, using Purify on your Zed clone is pretty sweet. Wow, do you take a glimpse here? You just get Vile Feasted and then you cry. Why would I glimpse here? Skitterer swing. I want a Crawling Sensation. So it's like Skitterer into Crawling Sensation. He'll probably play Callista on 3. I mean, he can't take a block here. I have to just get in some amount of pressure. I mean, you still can't really take this this glimpse. It's very, very, very easy for him to be on Vile Feast. He's actually representing it quite hard. Even though, like, the odds of him having drawn Vile Feast at this point in the game are a bit lower. Wait, was that it? Was that single combat? What is that? That's single combat, right? So this will often force a Vile Feast here.
A chill in the air.
So it's like, you freeze the Undying, because that's the one that you're not priced in to block. And then his 3/3 actually has a pretty decent attack to force a trade into a Spider Synergy deck. But the Archer stops it, so the Archer will force the Vile Feast. Now that wasn't the card he hovered before. Which makes the card he hovered before a single combat, I think. I think the odds of him being on 2 Vile Feasts are really low here. The problem is that this glimpse gets countered by single combat, but he'd have to trade the Skitterer in, and of course then we've got the Nut Brittle Steel. If you emote him, it's more likely he'll try to counter you back. Because you kind of like, you're like, haha, I have the counter, and then he's like, nah, but I have, oh fuck, that's not it. Okay, you're good.
Save the homestead.
Yuck. Honestly, these are gonna be like fucking big cards, though, I will say. It's a good top deck.
I must get out of here.
I kind of want to force him to take a block that we get good Brittle Steel value with. And we're gonna need to be trumping out the Undying, so I don't really want to attack with my Hapless. Let's force a block where Brittle Steel will protect that card. Oh, you know what? You know what? Wait a second. Was the card he hovered before the single combat? He put it on the left side of his hand on round... Yeah, it's definitely single combat. It's not the same card. The Glimpse that he used was not the same card he hovered before. And you would never hover Glimpse there. He's on single combat still. I have to save my Brittle Steel. He's definitely still on single combat. %. 100%. That was it, by the way. I'm pretty sure that was it. I'm not literally like super looking. I'm not memorizing every single card in hand. I think it was that one though. I'm pretty sure. I'm just not 100% sure. Yeah, I mean, I have to be mana efficient, so I'll just force it out right now. It's super hard for him to be on Vile Feast. It'll be a single combat. And the funny thing is, like, I don't give him the Undying kill. Because, like, he wants his Undying to die. So I want to force him to single combat something that doesn't have 3 attack. So if he moves in for single combat... Oh, he's not even stopping the Glimpse. See, now this is a different card that he hovered before. I think he's got a second single combat in his hand now. This card was not... I'm pretty sure the 2 cards he was hovering were the same card. This one is neither, though, for sure. I think he just used a different single combat. I think he's got a second one. So Brittle Steel is basically playing a 1-mana 3/2 Fearsome, which is pretty valuable here. Unless we top deck Iceborne Legacy. I mean, he has the second single combat, right? Let's just keep it, dude. He definitely has 2. He definitely has 2.
I'm basically 1/8 gay.
Oh, we got there. So I think it's the third card in his hand, right? After the top deck and after the Vanguard Redeemer is the last single combat. Oh god. Oh Jesus. Oh, this is so weird. It's kind of insane. I mean, we can't Brittle Steel this anymore. Unless we block with 1 spider, and then we can Brittle Steel it. I have to respect it, right? I literally have to respect it. So I have to pass here. No, it's horror. It's horror here. Yeah, it's horror here. This might actually force out the single combat before the attack step. I think it likely will. I think he'll single combat the horror to allow his Callista to attack. But even if he doesn't, he attacks, we kill Callista, we block the 4/4 with one of the spiders, so that we can Brittle Steel when he goes in with single combat after the combat step. So now he's tapped out for it. So now I can just move in right now. This is great. Sweet. And before Vile Feast, he's not representing second Vile Feast, and he would have need to have drawn 2 of them, which is low odds. I mean, killing the Undying doesn't... It's just like stopping damage. There's no reason to kill the 2/2 Undying yet, right? We want to play the Elise on this turn, which means we don't want to Brittle Steel. The question is, would we rather keep a 3-3 non-fearsome or a 3-2 fearsome? And the answer is a 3-3 non-fearsome is going to be more valuable here. Especially because we could have another legacy. So we block this and don't Brittle Steel. Because we're still putting him on the other single combat. We're flipping Elise. It's just, it can't be worth it. We're going to open attack here off of Elise. You still put him on the second single combat.
My true beauty is beneath the skin.
Is it possible that flipping Elise is actually just bad here? Well, so flipping Elise is not good, but is it possible that flipping Elise is so bad that I'm supposed to block the 4-4, sacrifice an entire spider, just so that when Elise attacks unleveled, we get a new spider? I'm kind of sacrificing a spider for almost nothing just to get a new spider, so I don't think that can be worth it, but it's actually not that far off. It's actually not that far off. Which is kind of crazy. So we'll go in like this. If he single combats... I mean, he'll do it on the 4-4. I mean, there's no way to kill the Callista through single combat now. Because he will just use the 4-4 with it. Yeah, there's no way to threaten this, right? That's a shame. I mean, we're putting him down to 9 and we've got like they who endure, but that's gonna be the single combat he's been sitting on, right? Big shame. I think that's totally fine. I'm not like upset that we can't counter that. It's not a huge deal. I think we have him on a clock of 2. I'm quite happy here, all things considered. It's like, we've got a They Who Endure, we've got a Crawling Sensation follow-up. My follow-up here is kind of nuts, and he's dead next turn. It's such a shame. We knew he had that second single combat literally since turn 2. No, sorry, it was turn 3. It was turn 3. It was turn 3, and we couldn't actually get an advantage out of the information just because of how the game played out. He has Ruination. Yeah, luckily we beat Ruination anyway. It'd be pretty funny if he did have Ruination. I don't think you can run it in. Honestly, yeah, I guess you can run it in the Undying deck. You can definitely like stack one Ruination there, I think. He did it. It's the Callista level, guys. Like you've never seen it before. That's moderately spooky. So we're just gonna trigger like as many deaths as possible, I guess. Because we're gonna want to like double They Who Endure here. Well, I mean we're gonna have 3, but call it a double. So due to the fearsome, it's like our blocker for They Who Endure. So what is Callista resing here? What is that? Oh, that's another Skitterer. So it's not damaging me because I'm killing it with the They Who Endure on the Callista. And we've got the 2 board spaces we need for the double They Who Endure, right? If I do this instead, so wait, doing this means I take 0 damage. Doing this means I take 5 for no reason. So I'll just kill his Skitterer by hitting his Callista, right? That seems pretty free. If he's got 3rd Vile Feast, we're not good. No, of course he doesn't have 3rd Vile Feast. Yeah, this just looks easy. Like we're totally fine here. I mean, I couldn't kill off more of my units if I wanted to. So, are they here? And theirs are maxed out at 888 here. If I put them on having like a way to kill one of them, then I could like horror. Could you put him on Black Spear here? I mean, you're technically just getting +1/+1. It's kind of meaningless, right? Could you put him on Black Spear here? Do not fall for Ruination. It is true that if I double develop into Ruination, you could just lose. It's probably not a risk worth taking. I mean, I could just go in for a really aggressive... There's a few lines here. It's like... Okay. So this is a decent line. It's very, very aggressive. This is kind of like sort of the default play right now. He's got a 1/1 which can't save him against Overwhelms and a can't block the 3/3. And then we have the Brittle Steel in hand. We have 14 damage on the board. So the alternative is we could Brittle Steel a 3/3 and then drag the Callista with 3 damage instead of 4. And that would threaten 4 more total because we'd have the 3 attacker. Plus the Brittle Steel. I don't know what you're playing around there though, right? That's actually a pretty close one. But I like the attack we had lined up. I think we would have done that.